Hi guys, so I am going to kind of walk you through the beginning of the Memoir AHA writing project. So this will be the first time that you are specifically writing something for this class that will be considered something that is like a gradable, scoreable thing. And so if you notice here um, on this kind of link, there are quite a few different things that you are going to use to be successful with this project. So, for the first and foremost thing that I want you to notice is that there is a rubric here. So, I have given you this rubric so you know how you are going to be scored on this paper and what it takes to get a four. A four is going to be something that is in the probably not or probably about the 90 to 100 range, and then proficient 80 to 90, and then emerging would be like 70 to 80, and then incomplete is going to be pretty much 0 to 65, 70. Okay, so that is how we are going to be scoring you. It'll tell you each specific thing. If you notice in this rubric, it is linked in. So if you notice here, I've got YouTube videos linked into each part that describes each part, reads it out to you, and kind of explains what is going to be expected of you to get a 4, 3, 2, 1. If you don't know how a rubric really works, this link right here is going to tell you exactly how a rubric is going to work and how I am going to be scoring your paper. So that's going to be really important for you to pay attention to first, because you need to know what is going to be expected of you in this paper. Next, you have your prompt. You've seen prompt pages before. I know that you've unpacked them quite a bit with Miss Harney and Miss Dickinson last year. So here is the prompt. So it says, look at the picture below. These pictures are just going to be used to kind of like get your mind moving. So it says, having moments of insight and discovery is a part of everyday life. You're going to be writing a memoir. Remember, a memoir is a memory, one specific memory about an event that caused you to have an aha moment. Remember, an aha moment is a time that you have like a moment of insight or you realize something. So be sure that you're going to write about that experience in detail and relate this moment, how it impacted you in the future. So not only are you telling me about a moment that you had that was an aha moment, but like what lesson did you learn and how did you change in the future? And that's going to be really important on the memoir part of things, just for the fact that a memoir kind of has 4 parts. It has a theme, which is an overall lesson. It has the incident, which is kind of the lead up to the situation. You're going to have the aha moment, which is the moment that you have a realization of some kind. And at the end, you're going to have something, some type of reflection about that moment. So that reflection may, you realize that you are going to be better in the future, or you realize that blah, 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 blah. So the thing is, I'm going to give you an example of that in the next part. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, just hold tight for that next part and I will show it to you. So for that next part, you'll see that there is a choices personal narrative. So this is a paper that I wrote. So this has all of the parts of a memoir. So if you kind of get confused as to what is expected of you, you can go back to this, see how I wrote mine. Obviously, I don't want you to copy mine, but I want for you to kind of follow the structure that I did. So I'll read it to you. I'm going to identify the different parts for you. And yeah. So, Miss Adams, will you please join me outside? With a lump in my throat, I scooted to my desk, dragging my feet slightly. As the door closed, I felt so did my chance to escape this conversation. The principal looked at me directly with piercing blue eyes. Miss Adams, do you know what this could be about? I mumbled I wasn't sure, just on the off chance no one had told the truth. Well, then, let me tell you that you've been identified as cheating on a math paper. I could feel my face turning red as I turned to look down at my shoes. I couldn't even squeak out a reply. We walked silently to the office, passing through the door I only thought criminals and bad kids walked through. In the principal's office, I waited as she clicked through the computer. With each click, my heart raced faster and faster. Finally, the principal looked at me. This face was one I'd seen at birthday parties, Christmas celebration, and even my grandmother's birthday. My aunt was the principal and now my executioner. My choices had brought me here, and now she was deciding my fate. As we talked, I revealed that I indeed cheated. I had a few club meetings and a basketball game the night before, and I'd forgotten my math homework. My friend Colton was in the pre-AP class and already had his graded, so I could just borrow his and copy the answers. Little did I know, the girl beside me in history had felt in her saintly heart that I was doing wrong, so she turned me in. I was already in trouble. My dad had been contacted by my aunt. He told her that I would be taking the corporal punishment of swats with a paddle. He also made sure to tell her to swing hard enough to make me remember my raising, and I was better than to get caught cheating. My aunt/principal looked over her glasses down at my trembling figure. She then said, I know you're already in trouble at home, but as you know, we take cheating very seriously. We could forego your punishment if you told who else cheated with you. 6 names sprung into my mind with the memory of passing paper with my teammates. This choice would be so easy, but I doubted if any of my friends would be thrilled if I turned them in. I responded to the question with a quivering, me, just me. She looked disappointed in my answer. She responded with, well, I'll see you Monday. You'll receive 3 swats. I would do it today, but I have to line up a witness. I shuffled out to face the doom of my parents' disappointment. I don't know which hurt worse, the hit to my backside or the hit to my ego. My choice to take the easy way out definitely stung in the long term. I knew better than to cheat, but was so scared of the consequences. Funny looking back, the consequences of me getting caught cheating definitely outweighed the bad grade I would have gotten. The choice not only affected me physically, but also the way the teacher viewed me as a student. For many weeks to come, she would give my papers an extra hard glance, as if nothing I wrote would be trustworthy in her eyes. My parents would make small comments about my untrustworthiness, and honestly, each comment stung like yet another swat. My one silver lining was the respect I received from my peers for not selling them out. It would have been an easy choice to save myself, but at the expense of other people. I also gained a little respect back from my aunt and principal because I took the swats without the usual grumbling that others had given her. Overall, the choice to cheat was not worth the repercussions I endured. The long-term effects of how my teacher and my parents looked at me. As I said, my small silver lining was my friends owed me for not giving them up for a lighter sentence. Choices have the ability to define who you are, even something as simple as copying a graded paper. In the future, I try to make better choices without forgetting to do an assignment, especially since I always remembered the sting of the poor choice I once made. So if you notice in my paper here in the beginning, I gave you the lead up. Not only did I give you the lead up, I gave you a lot of imagery, figurative language. I told you what her eyes looked like. I told you how I felt. I was trembling. I was telling you what I was feeling and externally what I was feeling. Not only did I do that, then I gave you that aha moment. So I gave you the aha moment of down here when I talked about, I got hit on the backside, but it hit me in the ego because everybody looked at me differently. And, I didn't like the way that felt. And then from that aha moment here in the bottom portion, I gave you a clear view of what lesson I learned and what lesson you could take from my paper, because you're reading it. So that has all the parts of a memoir, and that's why it's really important to try to follow that structure as much as possible. Again, not copying mine, but I wanted you to see a good example of something that had a lot of figurative language, a lot of imagery, and it still has all the pieces, and it still only reached 1 page. So that is my paper. So what I'm going to have you do is you are going to then go to the Memoir AHA first draft, and you're going to start writing your paper. Please feel free to go through your process in any way possible. I have at the front of the room, I have the prompt. If you feel like you need to unpack the prompt, like you had learned previously in Miss Harney's class or in Miss Dickinson's class, then you're welcome to do it on paper. If you need to brainstorm, go grab a blank piece of paper from the front, or if you have a way that you can brainstorm on the computer, do that. But then I want you to start your draft. Like I said, use mine as a guide to figure out what you need. And then when you think you're done with your first draft, go back to that rubric and make sure that you have all the pieces. On your rough draft, you are going to be required to revise. I'm going to tell you more about that in the future. So you're not going to get to a final draft today. I don't expect for you to get to a final draft today, but that is what you're going to be doing. If you have any questions, make sure to ask me, and I will definitely help you out. So that's what you're going to be doing for that project. Good luck.